Have you ever opened your fridge in the morning, stood there for a few seconds and felt that quiet fear creep in? Not because you're hungry, but because you honestly don't know what's safe to eat for your kidneys anymore. If you're living with chronic kidney disease, especially stage 3 or stage 4, that moment isn't small, it's serious. Because what most people don't realize is this: the wrong breakfast can silently strain your kidneys for the entire day long, before you feel any symptoms at all. I'm Dr. Mark Ellis, and I need you to hear this clearly. Many kidney patients believe they're doing fine simply because they've cut salt or avoided obvious junk food. But lab results tell a different story. Potassium, phosphorus, hidden additives, they don't announce themselves with pain. They accumulate quietly, and morning after morning, they push already weakened kidneys closer to failure. The good news is protecting your kidneys does not start with extreme diets or skipping meals. It starts with what you choose first thing in the morning. In this video, I'm going to show you 4 breakfast choices that help reduce inflammation, ease the workload on your kidneys, and support your body instead of fighting it. Including one option most kidney patients are shocked to learn can actually help when eaten the right way. Stay with me, because the last one could change how you look at breakfast forever. For many people with kidney disease, breakfast feels like walking into a minefield. You want something warm, filling, and familiar, but every bite comes with fear. This is where whole grain oats quietly stand out, not as a miracle food, but as one of the safest, most kidney-friendly ways to start the day when chosen correctly. I've seen this countless times in clinic. Patients tell me, "Dr. Mark Ellis, I stopped eating breakfast because I was afraid of doing more damage." And that fear is real. Skipping meals often leads to blood sugar spikes later in the day, more inflammation, and more strain on already overworked kidneys. Whole grain oats solve that problem gently. They digest slowly, they don't shock your system, and they help stabilize what matters most: blood sugar, cholesterol, and inflammation. Here's the science behind it. Whole grain oats are rich in beta-glucan, a soluble fiber shown to improve insulin sensitivity, lower LDL cholesterol, and reduce chronic inflammation. Multiple studies have linked beta-glucan intake to better glycemic control and lower cardiovascular risk, 2 factors that directly affect how fast kidney disease progresses. When blood sugar stays steady, your kidneys don't have to work overtime filtering excess glucose. When inflammation drops, the pressure inside the kidney's filtering units eases. That's indirect protection, but it's powerful. The key, however, is which oats you choose. Steel-cut or rolled oats keep their natural structure, slowing digestion and keeping potassium and phosphorus at more manageable levels when eaten in proper portions. Instant oats, on the other hand, are often stripped, sweetened, and loaded with additives that spike blood sugar and quietly sabotage kidney health. The difference isn't obvious on the label, but your kidneys feel it. Preparation matters just as much. Cooking oats with water or unsweetened plant milk that contains no added phosphates keeps the mineral load low. Topping them with a small handful of blueberries, sliced apples, or strawberries adds antioxidants without pushing potassium too high. And portion control is critical. About half a cup of cooked oats is enough to nourish your body without overwhelming your kidneys. Patients who switch to this kind of breakfast often tell me something surprising: they feel calmer in the morning. Fewer crashes, less swelling, more stable energy. That's not hype, it's what happens when you stop fighting your body and start working with it. But here's the part most people miss. Oats aren't dangerous because of what they contain. They become dangerous because of how easily people overdo them or prepare them wrong. And if that mistake can slow kidney decline, imagine what happens with foods that seem even more harmless at first glance. Because knowing how to eat oats safely is important. But there's another breakfast choice that looks innocent, delivers protein, and can quietly make or break your kidney health if you get one detail wrong. Now, if whole grain oats are about calming inflammation and stabilizing blood sugar, the next question almost everyone asks me is this: but where do I get protein without hurting my kidneys? And this is where boiled eggs enter the conversation quietly, efficiently, and often misunderstood. I remember a patient who told me, "Dr. Mark Ellis, I cut out all protein because I was scared it would destroy my kidneys faster." Within months, she felt weaker, dizzy, and exhausted. Her labs didn't improve, they worsened. That's because protein isn't the enemy. The wrong type, the wrong amount, and the wrong preparation are. And eggs, when used correctly, are one of the cleanest protein sources your kidneys can handle. From a scientific standpoint, eggs provide high biological value protein, meaning your body absorbs and uses it efficiently, producing less waste for the kidneys to filter. They're naturally low in sodium and potassium, two minerals that can quickly spiral out of control in CKD. For patients in early stages of kidney disease, and even for those on dialysis who need more protein, eggs offer nourishment without unnecessary burden. But there's a critical detail most people overlook: the yolk. Egg yolks are rich in phosphorus, which can quietly accumulate in the blood and accelerate bone and vascular damage in CKD. This doesn't mean you need to fear eggs, it means you need balance. One whole egg combined with one or two additional egg whites dramatically reduces phosphorus while preserving high-quality protein. This simple adjustment can make the difference between supporting kidney health and unknowingly sabotaging it. Preparation matters just as much as selection. Boiling eggs keeps sodium at zero and avoids inflammatory oils created during frying. No butter, no salt, no sauces. Pairing boiled eggs with low-potassium vegetables or a slice of white or sourdough bread creates a breakfast that feels complete without overwhelming your kidneys. Clinically, patients who adopt this approach often report improved strength better, appetite control, and more stable lab values over time. That's not because eggs heal the kidneys, but because they stop the slow damage caused by protein fear and malnutrition. Your kidneys don't just need protection, they need support. But here's where things get tricky. Eggs are usually eaten alongside foods that seem healthy, but can quietly overload potassium or phosphorus sometimes in a single bite. Because understanding protein is only half the battle, and the next breakfast choice looks heart-healthy, trendy, and harmless. Yet for many CKD patients, it can become a hidden potassium trap if you don't control one crucial detail. After understanding protein and learning how to use eggs without overloading your kidneys, many people feel relieved until they reach for a breakfast they've been told is heart-healthy. Toast with avocado looks clean, modern, and safe. But for someone with chronic kidney disease, this is one of the most misunderstood breakfasts and one of the easiest ways to accidentally push potassium and phosphorus too far. I had a patient once who said, "Dr. Mark Ellis, I thought I was doing everything right. Whole grain toast, avocado every morning." Her potassium levels kept creeping up even though she followed every other rule. The problem wasn't her discipline. It was the assumption that healthy for the heart automatically means safe for the kidneys. That's a dangerous myth. Let's talk about the science. Avocados are rich in monounsaturated fats that reduce inflammation and support cardiovascular health, something CKD patients absolutely need. But they're also very high in potassium. For people in later stages of CKD, excess potassium can disrupt heart rhythm and become life-threatening. Meanwhile, many whole grain breads contain significant phosphorus, often in forms that are easily absorbed, especially when phosphate additives are used. This doesn't mean bread and avocado are forbidden. It means portion and selection determine safety. A quarter of an avocado, not half, not a full spread, keeps potassium within a more manageable range. Choosing white bread sourdough or low-sodium bread instead of dense whole grain varieties reduces phosphorus load without eliminating enjoyment. And skipping added salt is non-negotiable. Sodium quietly amplifies fluid retention and blood pressure, increasing stress on your kidneys. When patients make these adjustments, something interesting happens. They don't feel deprived, they feel informed. They stop fearing food and start controlling it. Adding low-potassium vegetables like lettuce or cucumber increases volume without increasing risk, making the meal satisfying while staying kidney-aware. The deeper lesson here is this: kidney-safe eating isn't about good or bad foods. It's about context, your CKD stage, your lab results, and your portions. What helps one person may quietly harm another if those details are ignored. And this is where many people still slip up. Because even when portions are perfect and choices are adjusted, there's one breakfast option people use to play it safe: liquid, easy, and refreshing, that can either protect the kidneys or damage them faster, depending on what's inside. Because knowing how to control solid foods isn't enough. And the next option hides its biggest danger in plain sight, especially for people who think smoothies are always the safest choice. After navigating solid foods, oats, eggs, bread, and avocado, many people reach for what feels like the safest option of all: a smoothie. It's easy to drink, gentle on the stomach, and seems like the perfect solution on mornings when chewing feels like too much. But for kidney patients, smoothies are either a powerful ally or a silent accelerant of damage, depending entirely on what goes into the blender. I've met patients who told me, Dr. Mark Ellis, I switched to smoothies to protect my kidneys. Yet their potassium kept rising, their labs worsened, and no one could explain why. The problem wasn't the smoothie itself, it was the assumption that all fruits and greens are equally safe. That single belief has sent more CKD patients into dangerous territory than almost any other breakfast habit. This is where blueberries change the story. Blueberries are rich in anthocyanins, potent antioxidants, shown to reduce oxidative stress and inflammation, two key drivers of kidney and vascular damage. Research consistently links anthocyanin intake to improved endothelial function and reduced cardiovascular risk, which matters deeply for people with CKD. Even better, blueberries are naturally low in potassium, making them one of the safest fruits for compromised kidneys when portions are controlled. A blueberry-based smoothie becomes especially valuable for people who struggle with appetite fatigue or morning nausea. It delivers nutrients without overwhelming digestion. When blended with water or unsweetened plant milk without phosphate additives, it keeps phosphorus exposure low. Adding frozen cauliflower nearly tasteless creates thickness and volume without raising potassium, a trick many dietitians quietly rely on but rarely explain. The danger appears when healthy extras sneak in. Bananas, oranges, spinach protein, powders, and commercial smoothie mixes can turn a kidney-friendly drink into a potassium bomb within seconds. This is why smoothies are deceptive. They don't look heavy, but they concentrate minerals fast. Patients who stay within a simple formula often report better hydration, steadier energy, and fewer lab surprises over time. What matters most is intention. A smoothie shouldn't be a dumping ground for superfoods, it should be a controlled tool. Blueberries provide protection, not pressure, and when used correctly, they allow even fragile kidneys to start the day supported instead of stressed. But here's the reality most people never hear. Even the best breakfast choices won't protect your kidneys if one daily habit outside of food keeps sabotaging them quietly hour after hour. Because knowing what to eat is powerful. But there's one overlooked factor that determines whether all these choices help your kidneys or whether damage continues no matter how healthy your breakfast. If you've made it this far, I want you to hear this clearly. Your kidneys are not fragile glass waiting to shatter. Even with chronic kidney disease, there is still room to slow progression, protect what function you have, and live with more confidence instead of constant fear. Small choices made consistently matter far more than perfection. And the fact that you're here learning and paying attention already puts you ahead of where you were yesterday. I know this journey can feel lonely. Lab numbers can be confusing. Advice online is often contradictory. But you don't have to figure this out by yourself. That's why I encourage you to save this video so you can come back to it whenever you need a reminder of what actually helps your kidneys, not what scares you. And if kidney health, CKD, and evidence-based medical guidance matter to you or someone you love, subscribe to this channel. I share the latest medical insights, practical strategies, and real-world explanations designed to protect your kidneys and your quality of life. And most importantly, don't lose hope. Kidney health is not just about what's already happened, it's about what you choose to do next. With the right knowledge, the right habits, and the right support, you can still influence your future more than you think. Take care of yourself, take care of your kidneys, and I'll see you in the next video.